So this was posted on Pro Football Rumors, which is not surprising at all. It's actually piggybacking off a article posted by Paul Delher of The Athletics, and pretty much what this Delner, not Delher, Delner of The Athletics. And what this is pretty much saying is that the Bengals are going to give Mims every possible chance to overtake the job and win the starting job over Trent Brown. And it's not too surprising to hear this because at the end of the day, yes, you do want, in theory, for Mims to play so good in training camp, so good in preseason, that he looks like he could become the starting right tackle. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you start the best player. That's kind of just how this works, right? You want to start the best player on your team, and if the best player ends up being Mims over Trent Brown, then you're going to start him because you're going to do whatever possible to protect your quarterback. So let's say, I think Trent Brown will be fine, but if Trent Brown does struggle and looks, not that good in training camp and preseason, then yeah, you're going to want to start Mims instead because you don't want to start a bad player who's struggling, to protect your quarterback. This doesn't make logical sense. Now, obviously, they're talking about he's kind of going more into the fact of like they're gonna give him like every rep possible that they can to kind of see how he looks versus Trent Brown. But I think it's kind of understood that Trent Brown is the starter, and it's again kind of his job to lose. So while I agree, yes, they're going to, because that's what you do. You look at your roster, you look at your depth chart, and you try to see who is the best possible player to put out there year one to, make you the most successful team possible. And if you're like, well, Trent Brown is kind of struggling and he's missing some blocks and he's not looking good, Mims is looking great, but Mims is a rookie, we can't start him, then that's doing a disservice to your team and doing a disservice to your club. But at the same time, as long as Trent Brown looks good and above average and to what we expect, I don't think Mims is going to get that much of a chance to overtake the starting right tackle position. Now, that does not mean that we won't utilize him in jumbo packages. That does not mean we won't utilize him in different formations that would put in an extra lineman like we do with Cody Ford. We're definitely going to do something like that when it comes to utilizing Mims, but I don't see at this moment in time for us to go out there and be like, oh yeah, we're going to utilize him in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because it doesn't really make sense to have him be the starter if Trent Brown does look good and looks like what we expect out of him. So I do agree that, they're going to give him every possible chance because you also want to see what you have in him. Like, you want to see how good he is. And part of the process of Trent Brown is here for 1 year and he's going to sit behind Trent Brown and learn and develop and watch the starters above him and kind of develop around that fact. You want to see him in training camp. This is the best time to see him. This is the best time to see what you have out of him. You know what, for the most part, you have out of Trent Brown. You know what to expect out of Trent Brown. You don't know what to expect out of Mims. Right now, he is a blank canvas, and you are just seeing what he can and can't do. Right? So, while, yes, I understand the narrative of, he potentially could beat him out. I don't think he'll beat him out, personally speaking wise, but I think that this is, you want to give him every possible chance to do so. Because you want to see what you have out of your new piece on your offensive line. And if something happens, again, Trent Brown right now is on the injury list. If something happens injury-wise, well, you need him to start. And you need Mims to be ready to go. Like, there's no world where it makes sense to not give Mims as much play time as possible. Could, at best case scenario, you gave him too much play time, now he's utilized in different packages and formations. Worst case scenario, if you don't give him play time, now you have a guy who, if Trent Brown goes down with injury, you don't have a right tackle who has any play time and is still going off of limited play time in college. So Yeah, no, I'm expecting to see a lot out of him. And he's also a first round pick. So I still think Trent Brown will have the starting job when the season comes around. But to say that, you know, he'll get a lot of play time in every possible chance, I agree with that. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one.